And former CENTCOM Director of Intelligence, retired Lieutenant General Karen Gibson. Thank you both for coming on Friday night. We appreciate you joining us. Here is the president, General Gibson, to you first. The president who, for all intents and purposes, is losing faith. Watch.
I'm losing faith in them because they do lie and they do misrepresent. Well, the other day, the 5 missiles were shot. We knocked them down, but we were in the midst of a negotiation. I mean, I'm waiting for Steve to call me. How's the negotiation going? And instead, I got a call from Pete that they just shot 5 missiles at one of our bases in Jordan.
Yeah, it appears to me, and let me know what you think here, General, but it appears to me that diplomacy is on the ropes right now.
Well, I think that's very fair. I'm a little surprised that they have broadened and expanded the war in that way that they have, both through their proxies in Iraq, down in Yemen, and whoever was responsible for the strike in Egypt, demonstrating that it's not just the Strait of Hormuz that they can hold at risk, but broader international waterways to include the Bab el-Mandeb, the Suez Canal, and critical oil and gas infrastructure, the ports in Yanbu and Aqaba, both in the Red Sea, Oman's port outside the Strait of Hormuz, and the the Emirates port and the Gulf of Oman. And it is surprising. And certainly, I think negotiation is not the tack that they are pursuing at this time.
Yeah, and it seems to me, Benjamin, where it appears that Iran doesn't really seem to be all that eager to get back to the negotiating table here.
I think back to the president's point,
yes.
It's not so much that they're lying, it's that they can't deliver. So you have a system that was designed to have one man as supreme leader be the intermediary between the foreign ministry, which is Western facing, and then the Revolutionary Guard, which is internal facing. There is no intermediary that has that legitimacy. So the president and his team are speaking to foreign ministry officials who want to negotiate, but the Guard is not interested. Yeah. So that's why there's no pathway to diplomacy here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I was speaking with General Charles Wall today, and he was kind of taking a bite from both baskets here. He was saying that he believes diplomacy and bombs should both be on the table and in the air. Watch.
I think we should continue to bomb. I don't think we should stop and have some time for negotiation. I think we ought to continue. If they want to talk during bombing, that's fine. Let's listen up. But we know where their military capability is, not all of it, but a lot of it. And I think we ought to continue to degrade it. And the word obliterate comes up a lot, but the fact of the matter is degrade it to the point where they can't threaten anything.
I mean, is the idea, General, here to kind of compel diplomacy?
Well, that's what we've been trying to do for some time, actually, and I would say with some limited effectiveness. You know, despite the tremendous competence, lethality, and precision of these U.S. CENTCOM strikes, and they have certainly taken out a lot of military capability. They have degraded, destroyed significant assets, but they haven't entirely eliminated it. And those tactical successes have not translated to strategic victory. I think when we conduct these kind of military operations in any war, we're really doing it in 2 domains. One is that physical world on the battlefield, you know, breaking things, destroying things. But the other is to change the mindset of decision makers. And that's what gets people to negotiate, to capitulate, or to surrender. And there's little evidence that despite these very punishing airstrikes, we've done anything to change the calculus or the mindset of the people in charge in the Islamic Republic. As we've just heard, really calling the shots, it is the security state, it is the IRGC.
Meantime, I had a conversation today with former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and he told me this.
Trace, I think the end of diplomacy was back in 1979 when they first began to attack us. I think President Trump has been enormously patient. They appear to understand only one thing. They still want to lease us the Strait of Hormuz. That's not appropriate. That's not going to happen. And so I think that's going to require more economic pressure, continued military pressure, and diplomatic efforts.
Yeah, and he went on to say, listen, the first order of business right now is to get the Strait of Hormuz back open, fully open, and then we start moving from there.
If we go with the Secretary's word here that diplomacy died in 1979, then the only option for victory, the only one, is regime change.
Right.
And if that's the objective, then the president needs to say, stated, that is the goal, and the United States will conduct its military operations in order to accomplish that goal. What's going to set it back is taking steps towards that and then backing off, giving 5 days of ceasefire and then 13 days of missile strike. So, off and on, off and on. It changes the goals.
Yeah.
And so it brings neither victory nor pushes the president towards where he wants to be.
Yeah, fascinating. Benjamin Rad, thank you. General Gibson, thank you. We appreciate your time.